Happy birthday, happy birth. Wait, is that how it goes?
You mean happy birthday to ya? No?
I don't know. We sang one at school that was really weird, and it was like, happy birthday, it's your birthday, happy birthday to you.
Oh.
But I also might have invented that. So anyway, happy birthday, Em.
Happy birthday. I was trying to think of a song I know to serenade you, but you got it. You nailed it. Happy birthday. I'm glad you sang it, not me. And what do you think your flavored cake is going to be this year? Because we haven't gotten to eat them yet.
Oh, Blaze said he's already planning it, and I don't know.
Oh my God.
Yes, he already knows. He already apparently. So remember at our Bogarts show that cake we received, that beautiful from Lulu's bakery, and apparently the woman who runs it remembered that I had gotten Leona's first birthday cake there, and so Blades has already reached out to get my birthday cake there. So, but I don't know the flavor though, so I'm kind of excited. But I'm guessing maybe.
I mean, would it be the same as Leona's cake and our cake?
I can't remember.
Okay.
What I got. What about you? I don't know. I don't even know what. White raspberry, maybe something like that.
Raspberry for a cake?
White raspberry, yeah.
Of course, you'd pick something.
That's not that weird.
It's not like chocolate, you know.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's not because it's not chocolate.
Refined.
But...
It's refined. It's not like birthday party cake.
I mean, yeah. I mean, oh my gosh. Fine. Then what's your cake gonna be?
I mean, you're gonna get equally upset with me because.
Ooh, wait, maybe red velvet. Sorry, I just looked at her menu. I fucking love red velvet.
I can't stand red. You and I, our tastes are just crazy.
God, what is going on? I thought maybe that one we'd agree on.
My mind was blown way too late in life when I was told it's just chocolate. But
it's like extra chocolate with red food coloring.
But I feel like I can taste the red food coloring or something, and then maybe I can't.
But sometimes it does have sometimes it has a weird flavor if they put too much. But
I feel like you gotta like to make something brown look that bright red, there has to be so much food dye in there.
There is. Have you made it? Well, obviously not. You don't like it, but I've made it. And you put a lot of red food coloring in those things.
I feel like I'm just caking my stomach with like red dye.
It is. You are, and you're probably gonna have hives afterward, but it's worth it.
No, I think at this point, when it comes to my birthday, there's one thing that Allison has nailed down at this point, which is cake.
Like you said, there's one thing Allison has nailed down.
Well, there's one thing that, like, with confidence, I know I don't have to worry because, like, when it comes to like presents, like she's always worried about if I'm gonna like the presents, or I'm always worried about like what are the plans? I don't know. But if there's something that both of us know unspokenly, it's that the cake is fucking handled. And I'm assuming, at least, if she tries to like switch gears on me all of a sudden, I'll be really thrown. But she makes these cupcakes that are so fucking good, and they're like oversized cupcakes, so they're extra big.
Oh hell yeah!
And she tie-dyes them, so they're like bright. I mean, it's just
so crafty.
And she makes like the chocolate frosting. I think at one point she made it from scratch, which was very lovely. And it's not that it was bad, but I'm just trash and like out of a can, so it ends up working out better for her anyway because it's less work. But it's like these bright neon tie-dye cupcakes with chocolate frosting on them. Oh my god!
So my god, that sounds amazing.
They're so good. But so that's like the one thing that like I don't have to worry. I know I'm gonna fucking like the cake. I don't have to pretend.
How do you feel about carrot cake?
I was the weird kid who liked carrot cake.
I love carrot cake, but we're not surprised by that.
Oh, well, I liked the cake part. And maybe this is also why I can't stand red
cream
velvet.
Cheese frosting. That's why I like both of those, because I fucking love cream cheese frosting.
Yeah, I just scrape it off.
Oh, I'll eat it.
In my mind, if red velvet truly is just chocolate cake, why would you put cream cheese on chocolate cake? Why don't you just put more chocolate frosting on it?
Good together.
You're wrong, my friend.
You need to sit down.
I mean, you can have all the cream cheese frosting you want. I really do think, like, in the world of like friends can only be friends if like they complement each other's food palettes. Like, then we've nailed it, because you can have all of my stuff and I can have all your stuff, and we never have to fight on food except when we're judging each other.
I love that for us.
why are you drinking this on this month, birthday girl?
Wow. Why? I mean, I don't know. Happy Pride. There's so much stuff to celebrate in June.
Are you going to go do anything for Pride?
Probably, but I never really plan these things in advance. I just see them on Instagram and then attend.
Oh, your little baby's going to look so cute in Pride outfit.
I know.
Pride outfits.
What are you doing this month?
Well, I'm getting my veins ripped out of my legs.
Ew! Gross. You're disgusting.
So I honestly, and we're recording this early enough on that I haven't started panicking about what that actually means. So like it's fun to talk about right now, but when this comes out, I'll probably be like just petrified. But I wonder, they say it's outpatient and I'll apparently be fine the next day, but in my mind, I'm like not gonna be able to walk for a month. So somewhere,
oh my God,
somewhere in the middle is where I plan to be.
What happens if you actually get like a,
what?
Like, what happens if someday you get like a full like brain surgery or something? You're gonna be like beside yourself.
I like to think, you know how like a bunch of people with anxiety were stressing over technically nothing, and then all of a sudden the pandemic hit, and they were like, "I've been waiting my whole life for this.
I knew this would happen." Yeah, that was me for sure.
Maybe if something ever that drastic happens, fingers crossed that never happens. But I'd like to think that I'm already like, dealing with so much like health anxiety that like I can't imagine it getting higher. So
okay, that's fair point. Fair point.
But yeah,
let's hope it never gets there. Let's just say that.
So my legs are not having a happy June, but everything else I think I'm doing good. I have some friends coming into town.
Fun.
Yeah, it'll be fun. I'm a little nervous because one of my friends coming to town is like bringing her sister, who I was never particularly close with. So now I feel like it's not just like two friends hanging out. I like feel like I need to impress or something. Like I need to put on a show. So I'm just
put your Webbies out on the table. Oh, these old things?
Oh, these? I'll leave one in the bathroom, a la like J-Lo or something. Doesn't she like have a Grammy or something?
I've heard that, yeah.
I've thought about doing that in the bathroom, but then I also think about all the particles that come out of a potty.
Oh, good point.
I don't need to do that.
And it's kind of bouncy. You'd just be springing the germs everywhere.
Yeah, it's a lot. So anyway, happy Pride to all of my little queer folks and their supporting allies.
That's
right. Happy June. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday. Why did you say that last? That should be first, above Pride and everything else.
You're right. Happy birthday. Editor, cut this all out. No.
No, don't. All right. Here's the thing. Eva told us that she's only going to say one thing. And then she paused for a long time to the point that I thought her camera was frozen. And then Em and I were like, yes. And she said, what did she call this?
She said
a
this
redemption from last birthday episode, which like I don't recall at all. And she said, this is what she says to me. I go, oh, I don't really remember. And she goes, yeah, I didn't think you would remember. She didn't say it in that tone of voice, but that's how I absorbed it. And I was like, hey, fuck you. But really not, because I absolutely don't remember. And Eva is correct.
I think, apparently she did something.
Do you remember?
No. Why on earth would I
Oh my God, was it Scorpios?
Oh, Eva. Was it? If it was.
Maybe.
So maybe these are going to be all Gemini stories.
Maybe. They fucking better be, Eva.
That was a slick little...
Oh, she said he. Okay. So, yeah, I do remember. Eva, take that.
That was a sneaky little trick that she pulled on us for our birthdays. We were forced publicly to read multiple Scorpio stories.
I remember.
But yeah, okay, so Gemini redemption this year.
It must be, but I mean, I don't want to get my hopes up, but
maybe it's just everyone but Scorpios.
Maybe it just, maybe. Or maybe it's just bad stuff about Scorpios.
Every Scorpio has turned off our show.
No, Scorpions, they've turned up the volume and they're just getting madder and madder.
They're like, say it louder. Say it louder so I can hear it. Yeah.
They're like, come at me. But Eva did say I should go first. So I will go ahead and read the first story.
Cool.
This is called Birthday Holy Water / My Adopted Ghost Cousins.
Oh, okay.
Just let that one percolate for a moment.
I don't think my brain will ever get there, so I'm just going to let you steamroll through it.
Great. Happy birthdays. My name is Jack, and I use they, he pronouns.
Double pronouns.
Double with the they first. How fun. How spicy.
It.
You're going to love it more. I'm also a Gemini and share a birthday with Christine.
You know what I love about double pronouns and Gemini? Both
Twinsies.
The twinsies. Yep. Yeah, you got two personalities and they have different pronouns. Crazy.
I don't think anyone else besides Gemini should be able to use double pronouns.
Okay, that's a statement that I'll back you until
June, I can say that. I'm just kidding.
I'll back you until we get in trouble, and then I'll act like I never heard you say it.
And then you'll be like, she's so sick in the head that Christine.
I'll be like, what?
Let's cancel her.
I'm like, she's crazy. Don't listen to her.
So
she's a Gemini. She doesn't get it.
What do you expect? Mm-hmm. Okay, so Jack uses they, he pronouns. I'm also a Gemini and share a birthday with Christine. Happy birthday, Jack. I have listened to And That's Why We Drink since 2018 while working in a haunted building. This is a story of the ghosts that haunted my grandmother's house and how I was given holy water as a birthday gift. Okay. My whole life, one of my uncles and I have refused to walk through my grandmother's dining room because it gives us the heebie-jeebies. As a little kid, I would play with imaginary friends that I only saw at her house. That's not a good sign. And their names were Paul and Sarah. Oy. I also often talked about how there were monsters in my grandmother's closet, but it was okay, quote, because they were my friends. Oh, no.
Okay. So far. Hi. Okay. Keep going. Yeah.
Around my 16th or 17th birthday, on June 4th, by the way, if anyone's wondering, my grandmother and I invited some paranormal investigators to her house. That's what I want to do for my birthday. A few years before, my grandmother made a family tree of people who had lived in the house before her. The ones that are important to this story are an old man who died of a heart attack at the dining room table and a family with kids named Paul and Sarah.
Bye.
Who had died as adults but had lived there as children. So that's really interesting. It's like they lived their whole lives, but then their spirits stayed as kids in the house.
You know, I've one of my grandpas passed recently. Well, both my grandpas passed recently, but one of them I've talked to via dowsing rods. And I was saying like, "Oh, do you still look like my 97-year-old grandpa?" And it like flung no. It was
I've heard that.
And I was like, "Oh, like, do you look?" I was trying to guess the situation because I said like, "Oh, are in your 30s, in your 40s, in your 50s."
Yeah.
And I guess he looks like he did in his mid 40s. And I was like, that's interesting because I feel like you would want to pick the time you felt like the healthiest or the happiest.
Maybe
and that's
that
when
is it.
And that's when they swung open. So I wonder.
Oh, I love that.
So I wonder if that's just they had really good memories there as kids.
Maybe that was like their best time. Yeah. That's really beautiful. We started in the living room where we ended up getting the least amount of activity. One of the investigators had his ponytail pulled, and we heard an old man's voice say, "Help," on the ghost box. We also noticed that my grandmother's lap was 10 degrees colder than the rest of the room, but we couldn't figure out why.
Was someone sitting on her?
I was like, is it a cat or something on her lap? I don't know. Maybe like a ghost cat?
Yeah.
It was always like that. She had to use a blanket while I was hot, sitting just over a foot away. We moved from the living room to my grandmother's bedroom. As soon as we sat on her bed, the ghost box said the name Paul. I have included a picture of this too. We noticed her closet was colder than the bedroom. We started talking with the ghost using dowsing rods and found out that Paul and his little sister Sarah were still in the house. We also figured out that they loved my grandmother and often sat on her lap while she watched TV.
That's so sweet.
That's really sweet and also terrifying.
I know. Imagine being grandma and you're just trying to watch your stories and all of a sudden your lap gets cold and you're like, ah!
It's like an ice pack on your crotch for some reason. After talking to them for a bit, we discovered they were most active in her closet. They also said that they felt weak and scared and ended up somehow leeching energy from my grandmother and causing her a lot of fatigue. We helped them cross over, and since then, my grandmother has a lot more energy. I know, that's really sweet. Before the investigators left, the leader ran out to his car and came back with a bottle and handed it to me as a birthday gift. It was holy water. Usually it's like a bottle of tequila or wine, but like, nope, it's holy water. Since I was so sensitive to the paranormal, I like to think that this is still true, as I often predict small events and get texts or calls from people I'm thinking about just a few seconds later, especially my grandmother. But maybe that's just my anxiety. Happy Gemini season. Love you, Jack. And then there's a follow-up that says, crap, I forgot the photo. Sorry, I have ADHD. Here it is. And it is an image of the ghost box saying, Paul.
Oy.
Creepy.
Wow. Well, at my dad's house, we also have 2 ghosts that can't leave the property. And I used to see it up until I like hit high school.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, maybe I was dreaming or I made it up or something. And then my stepsister's kids, they were little and they came over and they started talking about someone that I couldn't see anymore.
So you grew out of it. Sort of.
Isn't
How
that
weird
funky?
is that? Yeah.
Anyway, yeah. Whenever there's a ghost in your house and you get confirmation that like, oh, the people you've been hanging out with in the area are real. That's it's so creepy.
Ooh, I don't like it.
Well, thank you. You said Jack was their name?
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Jack. So
thank you, Jack, and happy birthday.
We've got another writer. I don't know. First time writer? We'll see.
Another writer?
I don't know. Someone who wrote in. My brain exploded
Is this
for a
your
second.
first time here? Welcome to the show, Em.
I think so. This is Jill, who uses she, her pronouns. Thank you for normalizing pronouns. And the subject line is communication through kids' toys. So
no.
It's a firm pass for me.
Mm.
Hello, Eva and the And That's Why We Drink family. I have quite a few paranormal stories, but never wrote in because I didn't think they were interesting enough. But as soon as Christine shared her ghost playing with her toy cell phone story, that was in New Orleans, right?
Oh, yeah. Yes. No, it was in Knoxville, Tennessee, of all places.
Oh, Knoxville. I had to write in to share with her and all the other parents that have to experience this. Oh, so you're part of an elite group now, Christine.
I didn't consent to this, I don't think. Maybe I did by having a child, actually, probably.
Absolutely. The second you have a kid, you are committing to creepy things.
I knew what I was getting into, but I also love it secretly, not so secretly.
My home was built in the 1840s and is in the smack middle of farm country.
Ooh.
There are more buggies and horses on my road than cars. It's also walking distance from the local church and graveyard. I've had experiences since we moved in 2018. Then they always happen in the same area of the house, the kitchen and the rooms adjacent to it. Okay. For example, the kitchen door to the mudroom likes to slam on its own.
Oh, mm-mm.
I actually told one of my coworkers in 2020 when we all worked remote to check in on me after every hour. Oh no, after 1 hour, thank God. I
was like, every hour, this poor coworker is like, this is above my pay grade, man.
Asked him to check on me after an hour because I had been hit by something thrown at me.
Oh no.
But what takes the cake is after my daughter was born in 2021. Okay, Christine, get ready.
Oh, fuck. That's when mine was born, too.
My husband at the time was working his third shift, so we were both up incredibly late. We were playing video games in the living room when I hear a sound from the kitchen. It's my daughter's toy controller singing A, B, C, D, come and play a game with me.
No. It's like Chucky or something.
That's 1, 2, Freddy's coming for you. Like,
yeah. One of those like fun nursery rhymes about murder.
I immediately freeze and look at him, who is also wide-eyed. But he plays it off like, oh, something probably fell over and it bumped. Or bumped it. Ever the skeptic, he encourages me to let it go and go back to my gaming, which is exactly what I would have done. I would have been like, see nothing, hear nothing.
Don't have time for that bullshit. Nope.
Yep. Eyes wide open and mouth wide shut. I saw nothing. I'm not talking about it.
That's a great saying, Em.
I might have created it out of thin air.
I'm not really sure, but it sounds great.
The following night, my husband is at work and I'm home alone with the baby sleeping upstairs. I do my nightly round of walking the house to check all the doors that they're locked. And as I'm walking out of the kitchen, I see the toy controller sitting on our dining room table. I say to myself in my head, oh, good, absolutely nothing is near it, so I won't hear it go off again.
Good.
Uh-huh.
Famous last words.
I also do that confirmation every now and then where I'm like, if that were to fly off the counter, I know right now it is in the middle of the counter. There is no reason it would slide off. It will be very odd. I do that the
opposite way when I set something down and I'm like, well, it's perched very precariously on the edge of the table, but instead of moving it somewhere safer, I'm just going to tell myself if it falls, it wasn't a ghost. It was my poor planning
So you're like preemptively trying to get yourself out of being scared.
Correct.
Interesting, because I definitely do what Jill's doing, where like I'll put something down and I'm like, if this were to fall, it will be very fucking weird.
Okay, I just did the opposite of that when I put up one of those shower caddies that like suctions to the wall.
Mm-hmm.
And they never fucking stay, at least in my experience. And so I was like, okay, that thing is going to fall and I'm going to think a ghost did it. But then like, days go by and all of a sudden there's this huge crash and I'm like, yep, there it is. Like I knew that was coming.
That's so proactive
Stupid.
of you.
Oh. I was like, because I know it's gonna fall. I don't know why I didn't just set it down. I don't know.
See, in my mind, if something's gonna fall, I just never interact with it to begin with. I'm like, I'm not even gonna hang you up.
Not worth it. Yeah, exactly. That's a smart thing. But
I had a shower caddy in my last place, and I rubber glued it to the shower because I knew it would fall. And it never. Yeah. I had to leave it there. It didn't come off.
It's there to this very day.
Okay, so Jill's saying, "Oh, there's that toy that made a sound. If it's on the table, it's not near anything. If I hear it, it ought to freak me out." I don't even make it out of the dining room before I hear the sound of plastic scraping on wood, and then bang, the loudest crash of my life, and ABCD, come and play a game with me. Which now it makes me feel like that creepy thing where like they can read your mind.
Yes, exactly, which is very unsettling. Ooh. So it got pushed off the table?
Like she heard it dragging off the table.
Forget it.
When I tell you I broke the sound barrier with how fast I ran, believe me. My poor dog had no idea what was happening, so she bolts after me. I love that the dog is matching your energy.
I love it too. The dog's like, you're out, I'm out.
The dog was like, I'll ask questions later. We're bolting. We're getting out of here. It's a miracle between her zoomies and my sobbing that we didn't wake the baby. I call my husband, begging him to come home. He can't leave work, and I tell him I'm going to pack up the family and drive to him. He tells me I'm overreacting, and I eventually bunkered down for the night in our room and barely slept. I did not go back downstairs. When he comes home the next morning, he tells me the toy controller was under the dining room table. So it had moved again by itself.
I don't like it.
To this day, that story is tied for first place of scariest things that happen in this house. I've always felt since the very beginning that my kitchen ghost was a previous owner from over 100 years ago who is keeping a stern eye on the new folks. I named him the most Amish thing I could think of, Jebediah.
I was like, Abraham?
Yeah.
I was going to start guessing.
Things have calmed down recently, though, which is good. He had locked us out of the house while my daughter was still inside. And once we broke back into our own home, I sat in my kitchen and gave him a lecture on how this was my house now, and if he was going to continue to test my patience, I was going to get every stick of incense, every crystal, every bottle of holy water, you name it, and banish him forever if he didn't knock it off. Which, like, that seems like a character development. Like, that's an arc, because, like, you went from...
Oh, absolutely.
...hiding out in your room and almost never coming back into the building to, like, giving him a...
laying down the law.
Coming to Jesus meeting. Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, thank you for taking the time to read my story and everything you do for us listeners. Christine, I hope you can find some comfort and commiseration with another Gemini mom. I married a Capricorn rising, not sun, didn't. But close enough.
Okay, close enough. Good for you. It's a good choice in my experience. So good job. Wowza. I mean, I'm not comforted, but I am. I do feel like I'm commiserating. So that part is nice.
I feel like sometimes I feel seen, but then there are other times where I'm like, oh, so that's just on the list of things that haven't happened to me yet, and now I have another thing to fear.
Exactly. It's like, well, thank you for reintroducing me to this concept and fear.
Just as my panic was settling.
Yeah, just as I kind of wrote it off. But no, I am. You're right. There is a comfort in being not alone in these experiences. So thank you, Jill. So this is called The Time I Drove Through a Ghost.
My gosh.
From Jess, she, her. And it says, howdy. Hey all, and that's why we drink associated people, places, and things. My name is Jess, and I use she, her pronouns. I'm here tonight to tell you of the time I drove through a ghost in the middle of nowhere, Missouri. Every summer, my family and I would go to my aunt's lake house on Table Rock Lake for a week. Sorry, that was a lot of nouns.
Yeah.
Lake house on Table Rock Lake for a week. It sounds like table.
It sounds
house,
like
lake. It sounds like we're learning our vocabulary.
I was
for the
gonna
first
say
time.
it sounds like Hooked on Phonics.
Yeah. Yes. Exactly. This story takes place right before my sophomore year of college. My best friend, cousin, her 2 dogs, and I had to leave early because our schools were starting back up. It's about a 4.5-hour drive home, so we decided to leave Sunday night around sunset while the rest of my family stayed another few days. We got about an hour into the trip to stop for gas and realized one of my headlights was out. Later, we were driving through a town called Blairstown, hello, Blair Witch, when all of a sudden we drive through a low, dense, extremely bright cloud.
Oy.
Mind you, it was a very clear night. All of us in the car audibly gasped, and it felt like the temperature in the car dropped cold.
Ugh.
The dogs also started to let out that eerie low growl sound. That's scary because they're just chilling in the back seat. Like there's no reason that they should be freaked out by something.
I feel like when it comes to like dogs or animals in general acting out, it is very freaky. But especially like you just said, when they're just like lax and easy breezy, and then like all of a sudden, like even if isn't a reason they're aware of, something hit them in their soul of like time to react.
Something upsetting happened to them. It wasn't just you that noticed it. Ugh.
Like they felt something hit them. Ugh,
yeah.
Ugh.
The dogs started to let out that eerie low growl sound. Almost immediately after, I see police lights in the rearview mirror. What the fuck? I pull over and a state trooper comes up to the car. My first thought is that he saw my headlight was out. I roll down the window and he tells me that the reason he pulled me over was because my brake lights were flashing. He let us get out and see, and they were both flashing rapidly, like someone was pressing on and off of the brakes as fast as they could.
Ew.
What?
Wait, I don't even know what to make of that.
I'm so confused by the concept. I don't even know what to think. And then, let's see, she says, it was truly unlike anything I'd ever seen. In classic cop fashion, he didn't do anything to help us, just told us about it and said maybe I should get it checked out soon. We continued home, dropped off my cousin, and literally as my best friend and I were turning into our apartment complex, I got pulled over again.
Oh my God.
This is the worst luck ever.
Yeah, what do you even tell the cop? You're just like, I know, it's already happened.
I drove through a ghost, okay? That's what you tell them.
Yeah, I drove through a ghost and now my brake light that's broken is glitching. So
yeah, what do you want from me? This time, though, it actually was just because my headlight was out. The flashing had completely stopped. Definitely one of the strangest 20 minutes of my life, and all of us are convinced we drove through a harmless but prankster of a ghost. Anyway, that's my story. I'll leave you with my favorite combination dad/Gemini joke. My dad is named Jim and is, in fact, a Gemini.
Oh, God.
One of his favorite, this is cracking me up already. One of his favorite things to say to people is, "Hi, I'm Jim and I'm a Gemini." It's okay, I gotta demonstrate. Ready? Yeah. It goes like this. It goes a little something like this. Hi, I'm Jim and I'm a Gemini. It's Jim and I.
Oh, God.
He points, for those on audio, he uses one thumb to point and say, at himself and say it's Jim, and then uses the other thumb to point at himself and say, and I.
I thought and I'm shocked that he doesn't call himself Gemini.
That's what I was thinking too. Yeah, Gemini.
It's just like written right there for you.
That's all I got for you. I unfortunately don't have a that's for another time story, Jess. I love that people are owning that now too. That's funny.
I feel like the cries have been heard. People know whether or not we're expecting at the end for another time. But thank you
appreciate the heads up,
calling yourself out. But thank you so much. I don't know. I guess my first thought is if something that creepy happens to you, it's like the one time you want 2 cops to pull you over because you're like, you want the eyes on you just in case something like creepy happens to you again. Like it's nice to have witnesses. Yeah. So it would at least feel a little comforting. Oh, yeah, a little comforting of like, oh, at least people see me right now. Like, at least I'm not alone in this, and like I can run to somebody if I'm too freaked out.
I think I would have not dropped your friends off and gone home. I would have been like, I'm coming inside with you.
Oh, yeah,
sleeping here.
I would have been like, oh, homie, we're having a sleepover now.
Remember?
I don't know if you remember. All right, so this is from Amber, who uses she, her, And thank you for normalizing pronouns. And Amber's subject line is oh my God. Wow.
What?
I don't know how this is going to go.
Okay.
The time I watched my son die twice and took him out for a porterhouse steak. Okay, it sounds like there's a happy ending.
Okay.
I hope.
I'll listen. Okay.
Okay. I'm seeing. Okay, let's go. Hey yo. Okay, good way to start. Feeling better. The title of my story might be a bit dramatic, but I'm a Gemini. Okay, Amber.
Oh,
okay.
for God's sake, Amber.
Threw me for a loop there. But I'm a Gemini, so it's to be expected. I'm also a mom of 4 teenagers, and your podcast helped me realize that one of them was having a legitimate health concern. Oh gosh.
Oh no.
Last spring, my son, who is not a Gemini but is still prone to the dramatics. I feel like
Scorpio.
that happens when you're
or raised by Geminis.
I was gonna say, if one of your parents or both of your parents are a Gemini, you're gonna kind of revel in chaos for the rest of time.
It's too bad. I'm sorry for you.
Like Gemini by association, you know?
It's
like,
secondhand Gemini.
It's like, oh, I did the ancestry results. I'm actually 50% Gemini.
Oh, that's too bad.
I'm a mom to 4 teenagers, and one of them you helped me realize one of them was having a legitimate health concern. Last spring, my son came home from school telling me about an episode he had during his weightlifting class. He was doing bench press when the bar came down and smacked his chest, causing his heart to start racing. Oh, God. That's like a nightmare. Oh, my God. After laying down, walking around, and trying anything he could think of to get it to slow down back to normal, he eventually went to the school nurse. She gave him a cold cloth, and he laid down, and it did end up going back down to normal. We chalked it up to him having too much caffeine that day and went on about life. Weeks later, another episode hit. This one was much shorter, and I again found something small to attribute it to. Then M started sharing their problems with SVT, which is something I never heard of, and I had an aha moment in the middle of the sidewalk while delivering mail on my mail route. My son's symptoms were very similar to what M was describing, so fast forward through about 10 months of medical bullshit that I do not have time to explain. I'm sure M understands all too well.
Yep.
I do. When Jackson, my son, is at University of Iowa Children's Hospital for testing to see if he has Wolff-Parkinson-White syndrome, a condition very similar to SVT. We are in a room with 7 medical staff who are about to administer medicine to Jackson through an IV while they watch his EKG. The cardiologist tells us they will give him 6 milligrams of adenosine.
Oh,
which is what knocked my ass out.
That's what kicked your ass.
It kicked my ass to heaven, then back to hell, then back to here.
I was gonna say, I don't think heaven let you in. Maybe you bounced off the gates.
That's why I ended up in hell. Yeah,
Gotcha, okay.
The reverb was kind of crazy.
Yeah.
We are in a hotel, or not a hotel room. Oh my God, a hospital room with.
I was like, abort mission. Something's very wrong here.
We've jumped time. We've jumped into a different world. We're in a room with 7 medical staff who are about to administer medicine to Jackson through an IV, giving him 6 milligrams of adenosine, which will have a 15 to 30 second effect on his heart. As soon as she says the name of the drug, I recognize it, but assume I've just heard it in one of many other appointments we've had related to my son's illness.
Oh, it was from M. Oh, no.
I already know what's coming, and now I know why you saw your son die twice. And I've always thought, too, I've thought while I was in the ambulance for myself, I was like, I'm so glad nobody I knew saw that happen because it would be very traumatic.
Traumatic.
So I already feel bad for what you had to witness. I'm seated at the end of the bed. A nurse holds Jackson's hand and tells him to look into her eyes while they... That's odd. EMT Brad did not do that to me. While they administer the drug. Let me tell you, I'm glad she looked into his eyes because just seeing them from the end of his bed will haunt me for the rest of my life.
Oh, babe, I'm sorry.
I'm
That's
so sorry.
horrible.
I'm so sorry. For those 15 to 30 seconds, which felt so much longer, he looked like he was dying.
Oh my God.
Like something was just draining the life from him. And it hit me. This was the drug M had to be given by EMTs, and I remembered how terrible they said it made them feel. Afterwards, Jackson would describe it as someone sitting on his chest or being stabbed in the chest.
Oh, buddy.
But the mental aspect might be worse. The doctor said it gives you a sense of impending doom. Yes, I thought for sure I was in hell and then dying. Your brain thinks your heart has stopped / you're dying, and I could see that in his eyes. I don't think I took a breath for the entirety of that test, and when it was over, they told us they would need to do it again with double the dose.
No. Imagine, Em, if they did that to you, and then we're like, now let's do it again, but worse.
I do wonder how many milligrams they gave me. I don't know. But what's so funny,
it's probably in your paperwork.
I mean, my heart thing is right here.
There it is.
So,
I hope that you keep it handy.
Well, I have a stack of papers here I haven't done anything with, and it's just like in there. But I wonder if it's on here. I'll have to look at it later. Okay, so they just did that. The 6 milligrams, he thought he was dying, and now they're going to double it.
Cool.
My 17-year-old son handled that news better than me, which honestly, you're so fucking like in a daze. Like, EMT Brad could have told me we're doubling it and doing it again. I probably wouldn't have totally been aware.
Just go with it. Yeah, what are you going to do, you know?
So again, they gave him the drug, and again, I had to see that life drain from his eyes, and I was in no way any more prepared for it. He handled it like a champ, but later admitted he never wants to have to do that again.
Oh, buddy.
We immediately went to a steakhouse afterwards, where I insisted he order the biggest steak on the menu. And wow, I fucking remember when EMT Brad wouldn't even give me my sandwich.
I was like, wow, Em is getting real bitter over here.
I know. He deserved whatever he wanted after what I just witnessed. The test confirmed he had Wolff Parkinson White, and he will have surgery to repair it in May. I'm not sure when I would have realized how serious his symptoms were if it weren't for Em talking about their medical journey. So your banter saves lives. Aww.
Okay, that's a little extreme, but
and happy birthday to 2 Geminis. We are gonna ride that high until
your banter are not saves here. Lives. If anybody ever complains again, I'm gonna be like, do you know what I've done?
Ask Jackson at the University.
But also, he died twice, basically. So like, I don't know if we're saving lives as much as just causing, like, wreaking havoc on people's hearts.
It really is like insanity. We bring you to the brink of death, but we save you at the end.
But
and it's a fun story later. So at least for the plot, our banter is important.
Poor buddy.
I'm seriously grateful that I decided to start listening to And That's Why I Drink in 2020, that I never miss an episode, and that something I learned from this podcast had a very meaningful effect on my life and my son's life. Thank you to everyone who has a hand in bringing the show to all of us. Aww.
Nice.
Never underestimate the impact you have on your listeners. You make this mail carrier look forward to Mondays.
That's so nice.
P.S. Although I'm quite worried about his upcoming surgery, I know he will be in capable hands at University of Iowa Children's Hospital. It truly is a special place with special people. The Iowa football stadium sits right across the street from the hospital, and at some point in every game, everyone in the stadium turns to wave to the kids in the hospital. Oh.
Okay, I want... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say the last thing is that apparently Jackson's surgery was yesterday. So someone's maybe having another steak tonight.
Hell yeah, Jackson. Oh my gosh. Wow. Well, I just went to the email to look at and it says Google the Iowa wave.
The Iowa wave.
If you want to look at it.
Well, when they wave to the hospital. That's very sweet.
Wow.
So I hope the surgery went well. I'm glad. It is very validating because a lot of times I'm very aware that the last year of episodes, I somehow always find a way to like insert a health comment. So I feel bad about
lives.
I feel bad about that sometimes, but for Jackson, I'm glad that I didn't shut the fuck up. So
I am too. You know what? And what a kick-ass kid to be like, okay, let's do it.
I can't complain anymore. He did that twice. Like, forget that.
In front of his mother. Oh, at 17 too. So little.
I can't imagine. I really have thought what it would be like to have to witness someone seeing what that looks like, and to know that someone has is. You also deserve a steak, by the way, Amber.
I agree. Yeah,
That's
Amber,
tough.
what the hell? You went through a lot too.
Oy. All right. Well, thank you for your story, and if Jackson hears this, I hope your heart's thumping right.
Okay, so this is called A Bunk Bed, a Rosary, and Bob's Burgers with an Eerie Twist.
That's where like Jimothy or whatever his name is needs to come in with the dad jokes. That feels like a setup.
Gemini.
Gemini. It sounds like a setup for a Gemini kind of joke.
It does. We all walk into a bar. Hello, ghoul friends and spooksters. Love you all, the podcast, and everything you do. Thanks for keeping my ears a-tingling at work. I've got a wild story for you, so let's crack into it. I went to St. Mary's College in South Bend, Indiana. And yes, it's different from St. Mary's of the Woods. I don't really know either of these things. So thank you for clarifying for the people who probably do.
But if it's a question on trivia, now I know.
That's right. For the first 3 years of my undergrad, it's an all-girls Catholic college and very, very haunted. From poltergeist activity to full-body intelligent apparitions to blood stains that reappear after they've been cleaned, this place has it all.
Great.
Sounds like the oh my God, what is his name? I always forget his name on Stefan, where he's like, this place has everything. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That sketch. Okay. This place has it all. My dorm sophomore year and junior year was the oldest building on campus and was located right in front of the convent where the local nuns lived. During my sophomore year, we took a class visit to the convent to learn about the history of the campus. The final stop on the tour was a room with all of the old artifacts in it. The overall vibe of the room was heavy, and I wanted to yeet the fuck out of there once we got in the room, but alas, I had to stay. Once the tour finished, the nun tour guide gave us all rosaries that contained an original bead from a rosary owned by the original nuns that founded the school.
Whoa.
Jesus. I like how most places give you like a water bottle, like a reusable water bottle when you start college. And this place, like, here's your rosary.
Yeah, right. And it's like with like significant history to the building, by the way, like that shouldn't just be like given to strangers.
It's not the plastic ones that I have from like throughout my childhood. It's like a legit one. I wasn't the biggest fan of accepting it because this gal does not like historic artifacts that have a weird vibe. Okay, speak for yourself. But, you know, I wanted to be nice. I brought it back to my room and continued my activities for the rest of the day. When I came back that night, I knew there was something off about the feel of my room. The air was heavy and suffocating almost. I ignored it, or tried to at least, and went to bed. That night, I had one of the strangest dreams I think I've ever had. It was specifically 1918, and everything around me was in black and white. Oh my God. I was on the quad with a girl named Annie, and we were just hanging out and chilling until I walked away for a second and came back to find her dead.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Immediately after that, I woke up around 3 a.m. and could see the lights in the hallway flickering. I had the top bunk, parentheses, let it be known I'm truly a bottom bunker, but sacrificed it for my roommate at the time. Thank you for clarifying.
Yeah.
And when I looked across the room, there was a dark mist in the doorframe of our closet. In a panic, I quickly shut my eyes and pulled the blanket over my head, hoping that whatever the hell was in the room would leave. That was short-lived until I felt the frame of the bunk bed shaking.
Oh.
I grabbed the bed frame and the shaking immediately stopped. To calm my anxiety and help me fall asleep, I opened Hulu on my phone and put Bob's Burgers on because there's nothing more soothing than Linda Belcher singing about mashed potatoes. I woke up the next morning and things felt weirdly fine. Let's skip ahead to that night. The same thing happened. A weird dream in black and white, Annie, flickering lights, a dark mist, and Bob's Burgers. The next morning, I woke up wanting to figure out what the fuck was going on in my room since I'd never experienced anything like that before. My only thought was that it could be the rosary given to me by the nun. So I did what I had to do, go back to the convent and somehow return the rosary without looking like a total ass.
Oh my gosh.
I brought the rosary to class with me and almost had a panic attack in there because I was so on edge. Afterwards, I ran to the convent and saw a nun at the front desk. While I'm talking to her about a pen pal program with the nuns, no, it was not an actual thing, I took the rosary out of my bag and casually slipped it into the pot of a large plant next to me.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
That's how I handle a situation as well.
I know. I thought she was going to like throw it at the nun and be like, take it away.
I know.
I mean,
you
I
had
would.
it handled.
I also like, I would not be afraid to go up to a nun and be like, something you gave me is very connected to the house. Like something spiritual is happening as something you can understand.
I don't know, nuns are very scary. I think.
Maybe, but I'd feel if they're scary, then they can handle Annie. I can't.
I guess so. Yeah, that's a fair point. I took the rosary and casually slipped it into the pot of a large plant next to me. Once the conversation was over, I went back to my dorm, and bingo bango, the room felt like a breath of fresh air. That night, I slept like a fucking baby, and everything returned to normal. I told my roommate about the whole incident, and she didn't believe me. Well, a few months later, my roommate was walking in the cemetery with some friends. While looking at the gravestones, they came across an Annie that had died in 1918.
Ugh.
Are you kidding?
That's a no from me.
What happened to her? Oh my God. What the actual fuck? It turned her skeptical ass into a full ass believer. I have some more spooky stories from my time at St. Mary's and Indiana University where I transferred to, but I'll save those for another time. Thanks again for the amazing podcast. XOXO, Gossip Goblin, Kiara, she, her, Gemini Supreme.
Oh my gosh. Gossip Goblin.
And don't forget it. P.S. Please come back to DC. Okay, so wow, Kiara. And we didn't even say your name up front because I didn't see it in the beginning. So Kiara. Wow. Gemini Supreme indeed.
I feel like, I wonder if that means like Annie wanted to be back at the convent?
I wonder if that was her rosary.
Ooh. Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that. And also, but then like also to get a vision of her dying or something. Oh my God.
Yeah, well, it was weird. It could almost be symbolic. Like she turned away and then when she turned back, she was dead. Like maybe it's like symbolic. Like, I don't know.
Weird. You would think you would have an inviting presence if you wanted the person now owning your rosary. Like, I'd like to think you would like have like a nice connection with them if they're not going to be taking care of what you had.
Well, maybe it was the friend who, like from the perspective of finding her dead or whatever, like maybe that was like a trauma. Maybe it was her rosary.
Oh, yeah.
And she was like traumatized. And so after death, it like imprinted. I don't know.
Wow. What a story. But like maybe that's a good guess. I don't know. Either way, I think if a nun ever tried to give me a rosary, I would just be like, no, thank you. Respectfully,
you can't do that if you're at Catholic school. You have to take it.
Oh, really?
I mean, I don't think I could ever tell a nun in her face, no, I don't want this. I think that I'd probably get smacked.
Okay, fair enough.
They're scary, I'm telling you.
Our final story of this month, of our birthday month, is from Tara, who uses she, her pronouns. Thank you for normalizing pronouns. And the subject line is Bagel Bites Blip for listener stories.
Blip?
I don't know. We'll have to see. So Tara says, hey, love you all. Sweet and short. Been listening since the early episodes, and I won't waste time with introductions. Wow, Tara said, I'm coming in hot and you can't stop me.
Also, I love that every time there's a short intro, Em goes, wow, what a short intro, and makes it really long.
I'm going to keep it long no matter what you do.
Nice try, Tara.
I'm from Vegas, where the infamous Bagel Bites lives. My mom worked at a very popular local casino where Mr. Bites would frequent and gamble at.
Oh.
My mother found out at the time, which was around 2015, when Ghost Adventures was more relevant. Oh, okay, Tara. That I was swooning over the Super Bro host of the show. So the next time she spotted him at work, she decided to shout repeatedly, Zach Baggins, my daughter loves you. And when he turned around, his response was, it's Bagans.
No.
What an asshole.
Dick.
Can you imagine if someone went, Christine Schaefer, my daughter loves you, and you go, it's Schaefer. I'd be like, for the day, you're Christine Schaefer.
In a million fucking years. I will literally change my name to Schaefer before I say something like that.
Oh my gosh.
That's horrible.
But she had no shame and was going to let him know the tea, whether he wanted it or not, which is very nice. It's like, despite mispronouncing his name.
Mm-hmm.
My mother passed away unexpectedly and too early in last September.
Oh,
and
no.
I almost canceled my trip to your New Orleans show in October because of it, but my sisters convinced me to go. I cried at the pony intro when you guys came on stage because it was the first happiness I felt in that time.
Come on, Tara.
Anyway, been putting off writing this for her, but I have tickets for the show in Vegas in May. Oh, well.
Yes!
And I thought it was time that I write into you guys. Hope you can read this. for your listener story. And May is my birthday month, so love your fellow millennial Gemini. Oh, Tara. Oh my gosh. Well, I'm so glad you avoided a situation with Mr. Baggins.
I mean, seriously, and I still call him Zach Baggins because in my head he's always been called that. But now I'm more committed to it than ever. You know,
it's like if you're gonna be an asshole trying to correctly pronounce your name, then people are probably gonna stick with the bad one because you have a bad attitude.
Yeah, because exactly, I mean? Like you're not making me want to say it right.
I mean, I understand, like, he just wants his fucking last name properly said, but you could have said it any other way to a fan of all people. Like,
yeah, to someone working there, too. Like, don't talk to staff. Like, don't be an asshole.
Like, don't ever be mean to people who are in charge of your food and your drinks.
And your money.
And your money? Forget it.
Just saying.
Oh, my God. Wow. Well, what a good one to end on. Zach
Seriously.
Bagans, of course, found his way into our birthday listeners episode.
I know. Eva's so good.
Eva's
so good. She knows what she's doing.
Sneaky snake. But that's it. Next time you and I do a listeners episode together, we'll be a year older. And
it'll be July. Boo, July.
And we'll know what flavor cakes we got for our birthdays.
That's true. We can confirm or deny what has happened.
It's a good
Great
time.
point.
Yeah. Well, I guess until then, Christine, I hope you have a great birthday. Next time I see you, we'll have to celebrate together.
We'll be in Vegas pretty soon.
Oh, yeah.
To celebrate with Tara or however it's pronounced.
Yeah, can you imagine? Of course, your name is one that I could have mispronounced, and you told the story of mispronouncing.
Oh my God, wait, I didn't even think of that.
Imagine if the whole time
she's going, it's Tara!
Yeah. Oh. But yeah, thank you everyone who wrote in. If for some reason this was your first listeners episode, you can share your own true crime and paranormal stories with us. You can go to our website, and that's where we drink.com. And yeah, thank you for checking in. We'll see you all in July for more spooky tales conjured up by Eva.
That's right. It'll be the birthday hangover month. Can't wait.
And
that's
why
we
drink.